the original story by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Alright, let's get on with this then. Okay, I got 2 Star Wars Clone Wars Dark Horse comics. I got jeez. I got a couple of Harry Potter books. Talk a little bit about the fictional world of Harry Potter. I got Dracula and Frankenstein, of course. And of course I have the Rough Guide to Sci-Fi Movies by John Scalzi and the Rough Guide to Horror Movies by Alan Jones. Most of my knowledge of both sci-fi and horror movies comes directly from these 2 books, so I owe a lot to them. I wouldn't be nearly as big of a movie buff as I am today. Okay. And I got the Transformers IDW collections. These are some really awesome comics. They're very, very good interpretation of the Transformers universe. X-Men Mutant Genesis. This is the X-Men story. This is when Jim Lee started drawing X-Men. This is the one comic that sold so well that like over 1 million copies, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this sold like hotcakes. The art in this, it's still beautiful to this day, and it's like the first of Jim Lee's like the thing that got Jim Lee to be so insanely popular. And then I have these 2 Marvel Masterworks Uncanny X-Men, the Chris Claremont run. Although this one was Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum, and Len Wein. I got a collection here of The Spirit. I got V for Vendetta. I do have a trade paperback of Deadpool. I like this book a lot. The first couple stories are hilarious. They're really awesome, hilarious Deadpool fun. Then it goes a little downhill towards the middle, but then it picks itself back up again. There's some really awesome, fun stories in there. And then I do have the first trade paperback volume of Spawn. I'll tell you, the early Spawn comics kicked ass. They were fun. I think Blows Himself Up Dude, he uses this word a lot when he describes Spawn. He uses the word fun, and I see what he means. Because these early Spawn comics are a lot of fun. Like, there's all kinds of really funny moments, and it doesn't seem like these comics take themselves too seriously, which that was kind of a problem that happened with the much later Spawn comics. They started taking themselves way too seriously. Sort of a problem with the animated series as well. Alright. Here's a bunch of books that I didn't even read. Here I have the Chronicles of Narnia, which I've read every story in here. I love the Chronicles of Narnia. I don't care much for the movies. They don't really have the same soul as the books. They're mostly just, you know, eye candy, flashy effects, you know, good-looking men and women, you know. Doesn't really carry the same soul as the books, in my opinion. Bunch of children and fantasy books. A book on Mel Gibson. Right there. Ooh. Some more Star Wars stuff for you. The Han Solo trilogy. Yeah, these are some books that explain the origin of Han Solo. Yeah, this is great. This is great stuff. If you haven't gotten this, you need to get it. It's so expertly, fantastically written. Awesome stuff. Alright. Oh, God. Alright. I'm at the very bottom of the rack right here. I got a couple Harry Potter books. I have all the Harry Potter books lying around here. They're around here somewhere. I know I do have them. A couple of books about movies, film directing, shot by shot. It's a book my dad got me. The Men Who Made the Movies. This talks about the most iconic film directors and actors in history, such as Alfred Hitchcock, Frank Capra, William Wellman, King Vidor, and Raoul Welch. Good book, good book. I have 4 books, trade paperback, Marvel Masterworks, The Amazing Spider-Man, which is pretty much mostly the stuff from the 60s. I got this one, this one, this one, and this one. Yeah, good stuff. Great 60s Spider-Man stuff. And then I have 2 trade paperbacks of the 80s Marvel Transformers comics. These are pretty cool. I actually think these are better than the cartoon, but that's just my opinion. They're just a whole lot of fun. They're actually a lot more serious and dark, and much more. They have much more mature themes than the cartoon does. But they're still really entertaining to read. They're a lot of fun. God of War. This book sucks. I love the games, but this book just blows. This book is so boring and so mundane and dull. I actually want to find some way to get rid of this book or just fucking burn it, because it seems like Kratos does awesome in any other medium besides books. Well, actually, the God of War comic books that I read were actually pretty good, but this is just crap. This shit is so boring. And trust me, the one thing I think of when I think of God of War is not boring. Crap. Let's see here. Nothing really in there worth mentioning. Yeah, that just about does it for my... Yeah, that's pretty much my whole book collection right there. So, stay tuned, and I'll talk about my DVD collection. The Odyssey by Homer. I got a book on the Greek gods. Got a dictionary, a driver's manual, and something about being a U.S. soldier. Hang on a second. Alright, I apologize for that. I needed to sit down somewhere. I'll tell you something, holding a camera over an entire freaking collection with your arm is a lot freaking harder than it looks. It is a pain in the ass. Oh, okay. Let me scroll through the books on here. Here's the Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials. It's basically like an encyclopedia on a crapload of different alien species that some guy made up. And something just fell on the floor there. The Atlas of Middle Earth. Just in case you know just in case you don't know where exactly to go. Just in case you're just curious to see how everything fits together in the world of Middle Earth and Tolkien's world. Alright. Here's an awesome book right here. The World of Kong, A Natural History of Skull Island. This came out when Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong remake came out. This book is awesome. It features really cool illustrations. It's basically nothing but concept art from the movie, and it features all kinds of really awesome monsters and dinosaurs and creatures. Oh, look at that. 2 V-Rexes. God, that's awesome. So yeah, this was really an amazing book for me to read. Me being, you know, such a huge fan of really scary things and monster movies and whatnot, it was really a treat for me to just flip through the pages and see all these different awesome landmarks and creatures and stuff. I love the movie too. I know a lot of people fucking hate the Peter Jackson King Kong remake, but I think that it's really, really damn good. Alright, let me put that up. And we'll go on. And speaking of King Kong, I actually have a book here which details the entire history of the movies of King Kong that King Kong was featured in. This is a pretty good book. Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, I already talked about that one. X-Men Phoenix Rising. The original book of Wanted, written by Mark Millar. A great book. Very unique. Offers you a look through the eyes of supervillains. Marvel, The Avengers, The Ultimate Character Guide. This is a good book other than the fact that it leaves out a few really cool Avengers characters and Marvel characters, and instead it includes a lot of obscure, really bad, crappy characters that nobody cares about, like freaking Star Fox and Squirrel Girl, and I don't know, I wasn't really impressed by this book. Didn't find it to be all that good. They got 3 Iron Man books. The prologue to the Armor Wars storyline. The first and the regular Armor Wars, which is like the one of the most famous Iron Man storylines ever. And then I have War Machine, which introduces the character known as, well, War Machine. Got me the Green Lantern Chronicles, collects the first few Silver Age Green Lantern comics. Batman Hush. This is a pretty good story, and the art is just, I think the story is good, but the art steals the show. The art in this book is amazing, but it's Jim Lee, so I wouldn't expect anything less. Jim Lee is a freaking amazing artist. And speaking of Batman, here I have Batman Year One. Now, a lot of you are probably going to hate me for saying this, but I really didn't like this book all that much. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad book. It's a good book. It's a really good book. It's just that I heard everyone talking about just how great and immortally fantastic this book was. When I actually opened it up and read it, I wasn't that impressed with it. I really was not that impressed with it. The problems I have with this book, well, for one thing, it's a bit too short. Honestly, if you're gonna go through rebooting a character like Batman, I think you'd need to take a little bit more time in doing it. Because this story feels a little bit rushed. And also, why is the focus primarily on Commissioner Gordon? I figure if this is supposed to be retelling Batman's origins, it should be, it should be more focused on Batman, not Commissioner Gordon. If this is going to be mostly about Commissioner Gordon, then it should be Commissioner Gordon Year One, I don't know, it's just that I've heard so many people praise the hell out of this book, and I'm a huge fan of Frank Miller. I love Frank Miller's work, but I don't know what to say. This book just disappointed me. I don't know why it did. It just did. It's not my favorite Frank Miller book. That's just my opinion. All right, let's